All right, I'm going to talk about dry roasting seeds. I dry roasting seeds for Bree. If you hear some crackling in the background, it's pumpkin seeds that I just about got done. So what we have on here on the plate are the seeds I use the most for Bree. We have pumpkin seeds here. We have sesame seeds, both white and black sesame seeds. We have chia seeds and we have flax seeds. These are amazing superfoods. And some of them Bree ate every day. Here we go. We'll just show right. So the pumpkin seeds are more than done. You have to be really on seeds to make sure they don't burn. There's some just a little overcooked here, but the point of what I wanted you to know is you just rinse them, and I'll show this. These go back there, and I'll show you this with the sesame seeds. I've just rinsed them under the tap, nothing else, and just rinse them like that with your hands, stir them. And they have already been rinsed a bit, so they're good to go. Then you put them, no oil, nothing. This is called dry roasting. Right in the pan, okay? And that's what I did with the pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are full of zinc. Now, what I would do with these pumpkin seeds, and these are just going to start heating, is I'm just going to put them in a bowl, let them cool off, and then I will grind them up in a bullet. I have a bullet. And pumpkin seeds, to know they're done, like here, they're pretty flat, and you know they're done in the pan when they puff up, and just before they get and sort of puff up, and also they're going to be crackling in the pan, which is nice to hear. So then you know they're done, okay? And I don't know if the difference, there's definite difference between how they are all puffed up compared to the flatness, and you can easily see that. Trial and error, and you will get there. So once I grind these up, then seeds are always stored in your refrigerator. Please, you don't want them to go rancid. Now the sesame seeds, doing nicely here. I grind these up and I put them in a bottle, any bottle, glass storage, please. And then I can sprinkle them. I sprinkle them on grains. I sprinkle them on beans. Sea vegetable dishes. They add a nice, the flavor is so good with pumpkin seeds. In a sense, nutty, but I just love it. And they're full of zinc, which is really good for you. So now I'm doing the sesame seeds. Now the sesame seeds are going to be different. Now this is no oil, this is just with the water and dry roasting. And you have to play with your temperatures, up and down. The difference with the sesame seed, to know when it's done, is that literally, and it's far from done right now, literally you can take the seeds between your fingers and press them and they should break apart. And then you'll know that they're done. And of course, now I can tell they're still wet from the rinsing, so all that has to dry off. So I'll just keep doing these and get these done. So this is dry roasting. And sesame seeds, I believe, from what I've read, have the food with the highest calcium on the planet. So, this is a good one. And I do the same thing. Don't grind up the sesame seeds once they're cooked. Just put them, once they cool off, put them in a glass bottle and store them in the fridge. And then sprinkle them. I sprinkle them on rice. I sprinkle them on I combine them with rice. They're just wonderful. Like I'll cook some rice and I'll add a half a cup of this to 2 cups of rice, and that's a complete protein. You add combine a seed with a grain, and you've got complete protein. And this worry about protein is far exaggerated anyway. I think you need about 3% of your daily intake, and to be protein, and even if you were eating the lowest protein foods, like rice, say, mung, you would be getting 9%. So it's just the animal companies wanting you to believe that you need all this excess protein. Plant protein is good for you, but it's been proven, the China study, that increase of animal protein, dairy, meat, chicken, eggs, and also is the increase of cancer and diabetes and all the major diseases. So lower, it's almost like a switch. Lower the amount of animal food, and the cancer switch goes off. You know, increase the amount of animal food, cancer switch goes on. So this is nice. It's starting to smell nice, and it's crackling a little bit. Not as much as the pumpkin seeds, but just a little bit. Oh, yes. So now, just going to turn this down. You can't leave the stove. You just can't leave the stove. I mean, I left for a minute with the pumpkin seeds just to show you the plate of different seeds, and it was like, no, you can't do that. But they're still going to be delicious. There's a way to make these. I'll talk about that at the end. But if, just as they're finished, if I wanted to make this more yawn, I would never do this for Bree, or a special needs child, but say your husband, he likes it more, you know, I would have added some either tamari, just a sprinkle at the very, very end of the cooking, or some umeboshi vinegar, which is made from the umeboshi plums, just at the very end, and that's quite nice. But not for Bree, she didn't need it that. So these are just, let me do the hand thing. Oh yeah, now they're getting there. I can feel it. Another thing is seeds and nuts. You need to, when you buy them, they need to be in the cooler section of your grocery store. Mine are in an open cooler, all the nuts and seeds, to prevent them from growing rancid. And I store them on the door of my fridge. When I bring them home, this is close. Oh, it smells so good. And put them in glass bottles. You can get these bottles at any hardware store. You know, they're mason jars. And also, most of them come with this type of a lid. You know, but you can buy these extra lids at the hardware store too. So you're not dealing with this double thing. So very easy to find glass bottles, not a problem. Now these are done. I can squish them between my fingers, they're perfect. And then I put them, take them off the heat, and I put them in a bowl to cool off. And then these will go directly into a jar once they've cooled off. There, lovely. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, so those, the dry roasting are the sesame seeds and the pumpkin seeds. Now, the other important ones here, major important, is flaxseed. And you can get either the dark flaxseed or a golden colored flaxseed. Full of your omega-3s, full of fiber and protein, okay? But you must grind it to be able to digest it, and so it digests in your body, otherwise it'll pass through. So then I put it in a bullet, and this is it ground up, and I just have this on the door of the fridge too, okay? So flaxseed is very important. A tablespoon a day, everybody across the board. That's an easy way to know it. Then the other one that is a major seed, full of omegas, full of protein, just absolutely wonderful, is a chia seed. And there's nothing you need to do to this. Flax is the only one that needs to be ground to digest, okay? I grind the pumpkin seeds. They don't need to be ground either. I grind them up. I ground them up for Bree because it was easier to add to her food, okay? And but if I can just have those as a snack on the counter, and they're lovely. Those and also sunflower seeds, which I didn't use on Bree because she was sensitive to them. So, but the flax need to be ground to digest. Okay, that's important. Chia seed is amazing. There's nothing, you can sprinkle it on your cereal. You can I put it in the green smoothies. And I put a couple of tablespoons in, when I made a batch of green smoothies in the Vitamix. Vitamix and the Bullet were like, and a baby food meal, I lived with those. So seeds are wonderful. They're complete protein when you add them to any grain. And they all have wonderful benefits, which you can easily research. But these were the ones that I used for Bree, and it's variety. You know, when you're eating different seeds, and although flax every day, and usually chia every day because they went in green smoothies. And then different grains, and then different beans, and then, now they're saying 10 different vegetables a day. When I started this with Bree, it used to be 5. But I counted for fun, the whole day with the different dishes and different foods we were eating. She had 10 would be a low day, but usually it was 15 plus up to 20 vegetables a day. And that gives you the variety, so that builds a stronger body. If you're eating French fries and hamburgers every day, you're setting yourself up for trouble because you're not wide. And I remember when I first asked Michio Kushi, the head of macrobiotics, what was it, almost 40 years ago, when we were in our first consultation, I said, how do I need to eat so that I can cook for my daughter and my energy be good for her? And he said, eat wide. And what he meant by that, big variety of vegetables, big variety of grains. So I would, if I cooked rice one time, I'd cook millet the next, I'd cook quinoa the next, Quinoa is high in protein, and one of the foods close to being a complete food on the planet. So please have fun with this. It adds flavor to your food. Please add dry roasted seeds and the ones that don't need any cooking whatsoever. And it's easy to make a batch ahead and store them in the fridge.